All right, so the last two organelles for us to talk about are two organelles that are related to energy inside of cells. So they're the mitochondria and the chloroplast. And mitochondria is an organelle which is responsible for releasing energy in the cell. So where do we get the energy to live? Where do you acquire the energy you're using right now as you move your arm to write your notes?
Brain?
Ashley? Yeah, the foods that you eat. So when we consume food, okay, last period, let's say you had a slice of pizza from the school. Right now in your stomach, it is being digested, broken up into tiny, simple compounds, things like glucose and amino acids and things like that. From your intestine, it's going to be absorbed into your bloodstream, where it's going to circulate throughout your body, reaching every cell in your body. And the main source of fuel for our cells is glucose. So lots of the foods we eat will be broken down into glucose, which is delivered to all of our cells. When that glucose gets into our cells, it's used by the mitochondria. What the mitochondria does is it takes that glucose, goes through a process that's called cellular respiration, and takes the energy out of that glucose and changes it into a form our body actually can use to do work, that your muscles can use to contract, your cells can use to move things around. So the mitochondria is sometimes called the powerhouse of the cell because it supplies energy. We're going to learn more about the process of respiration after we finish with this section. But we will say for now that it supplies the cell with energy. Ellie?
Okay, so if food gets us energy.
Food gives us energy.
Okay, so how come I feel tired after I eat?
I don't know. So this process is called cellular respiration. Respiration, sometimes for short. An interesting fact is that cells in our body that need a lot of energy, like our muscle cells, have a lot of mitochondria in each cell because they need a constant supply of energy. Other cells don't have as many mitochondria if they don't need as much energy. Then the last organelle to talk about is called the chloroplast. This is an organelle we found only in plant cells and a few other things, not in animal cells. And the chloroplast is where, here's an electron microscope image of a mitochondria. It looks kind of like a bean with a bunch of folds inside of it. And if you ever want a really cool Halloween costume, you could dress up as a mitochondria for Halloween.
Can we watch the video?
Is that mitochondria?
What?
Powerhouse.
It's something like that.
Yes.
So, no.
I wrote that on my paper.
The chloroplast, that's Mr. Arcuri when he was a kid and his dad.
That makes sense.
Really, kid?
So the chloroplasts are what make these leaves over here on these plants green, because chloroplasts have within them this green pigment called chlorophyll. And do you know what are the green parts of a plant able to do? Yeah, they go through the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is using sunlight along with carbon dioxide and water to make glucose. We are unable to go through this process of photosynthesis. Our cells do not have chloroplasts. So we need to get glucose by eating things. Plants, however, don't need to eat anything. They get their glucose through this process of photosynthesis. They look like green ovals. Each of these little green circles in these cells is a chloroplast. Do you think plant cells have mitochondria?
Yeah.
hear both answers.
No.
Who can give me some reasoning with your answer? Addis, what do you think?
Because plants don't need to eat, they don't need a mitochondria to change glucose into
Okay. Who wants to give me the argument for the other answer that they do have? What? Somebody said yes before. Change your answer. So plants do have mitochondria. Because what does photosynthesis do for the plants? It makes glucose, but then they need to take that glucose and transform that energy into a form the cell can use in the mitochondria. So plants do have both. All right, so let's look at some diagrams of cells. And I'll try and give you some tips as to how to recognize these different organelles. So we already talked about plant cells generally are squarish, rectangular. Animal cells are generally roundish in shape. The outermost layer in a plant cell is what?
The cell wall.
The cell wall. It's thick, but it's non-living. It's just sort of a shell around the outside. The outermost layer of the animal cell?
Cell membrane.
Cell membrane. But it's also present here in the plant cell as well. It's just inside of the cell wall. Usually an easy organelle to find is the nucleus. It's pretty large typically. Okay, here, this whole thing, this is like a cell cut in half. This whole thing is the nucleus. This whole purple thing is the nucleus. Right near the nucleus, all these sort of tubes attached to it, that's the ER. Okay? That's the ER here. Some of it has ribosomes on it, the rough ER, those spots. Other has no spots, that's the smooth ER. Mitochondria, the bean-shaped things with all these folds inside of it. Chloroplast, green ovals with stacks of looks like poker chips inside of them. They're usually around the outside so they can absorb light better. And then this delicious stack of pancakes with drops of grade A amber New York State maple syrup around them are the Golgi bars. Veggie bacon. Veggie bacon.
Cruelty-free bacon.
All right. So if we look at this again, this is a simpler diagram of an animal cell. Let's label it. So up here, this stuff is
The
ER. Which one? This is the rough ER. What would this be over here? That's the smooth ER, this section. What's this yellow stuff? Cytoplasm.
How did I know?
Because you have one of those.
Oh.
What? This orange stuff?
The rough, the smoothie article.
No, this is a smooth ER. Golgi bodies, correct. A foldy bean?
It's a mitochondria.
Mitochondria. Now these two things, you don't have to tell the difference. They're the same basically. They look the same. They're these little bubbles that are in the cell. Some of them might be lysosomes with digestive enzymes inside. Others might be vacuoles that are holding water or other substances. What's this little tiny blue dot? And there's some here as well. There's also some here. Those are the ribosomes. What's this purple thing? The nucleus, which has some parts to it. The outer layer is called the nuclear membrane. The whole thing's a nucleus. It also has the nucleolus inside, which is not labeled here. How about this? This arrow, I would like it pointing here, but it's not. Smooth ER. Write smooth ER. You don't have to write the whole word. And how about this purple?
That's the cell membrane.
Which? I heard both.
Cell
membrane. Oh.
I still hear
cell
both.
membrane.
This is an animal cell, no cell wall.
I thought that had a good way to remember that.
A.
For membrane.
All right, let's look at a plant cell. All right. Here we have this outer yellow layer, which is the cell wall, a thicker layer. What about this white thing?
That's nucleus.
Wait, I got this.
But I know
It is the central vacuole.
That's the vacuole. In plants, remember, often plant cells have a large central vacuole. It's usually filled up with water. What's this thin blue line around there? Cell membrane, good. Little dot? Ribosome. Gray stuff? These?
Green stuff.
Nate?
We have to label these on the test.
I thought you were going to tell me the answer, Nate. Yes, you are. You care to answer now, Nate?
What's the difference?
No, look for your friend.
Mitochondria.
Ashley, negative.
What?
What color is it? Chloroplast.
That's not the answer, okay? C.
All right, what's this whole thing?
Nucleus.
Nucleus. Outside is the nuclear membrane. What's this dark area inside?
Nucleus.
That's the
Oh, it
nucleolus.
does.
The entire thing is the nucleus.
Oh,
Does it just mean it look like your face?
Yeah, kind of.
What?
How about these things? They're not drawn that well, but
The
Yeah.
Golgi.
the orange, ER,
Yes.
yep. Blue. How do we know they're Golgi bodies?
Pancakes. Syrup. Drops. Gold.
Bacon.
There's no bacon in the Golgi bodies.
Our bacon is delicious. I ate bacon for breakfast.
Fake bacon?
No, I like real bacon.
I make
It was
veggie
chewy.
BLTs sometimes.
Oh, I don't eat
They're with
the.
that fake bacon.
I don't
eat
eat
tomatoes or lettuce, so I just have the bacon with my.
I'm a meatitarian.
A bee sandwich?
My mother defines me as a meatitarian.
All right, we're not into this right now.
Too early.
What's the